Hello, everyone, and welcome to what has, in the past few years, become an annual event, our annual Q&A. We are doing this live on Twitch, just an hour and a half before we get into 2022, but we want to answer some questions. We're having questions come in live, and we're going to just pick some and answer them for a little bit. Been a while since we've done this.
Yeah.
A year, in fact. It's been 1 year.
1 year on the dot.
On the dot, yes.
Yes.
But it's time to answer some questions. So, let's start with this one. This is from Elena PT, who asks, what is something about a game or painting you did this year that you unexpectedly enjoyed? I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Very specifically. You worked on quite a few different projects this year.
Yeah.
I actually want to pull up your...
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, and do you need it too?
Yeah.
I'm actually going to pull up...
Redbubble, but okay.
Oh, I'm going to pull up your channel. I'm going to pull up your channel and actually
I'll answer the part about games while you're doing that.
Sure.
So I recently beat Ghost of Tsushima, and
oh, yeah.
I really liked the parts in the hot springs and the haiku spots. I really liked that thing because you go in and when you're in the hot spring you can like think about things that are happening in the game and it'll give you some more information about like history or backstory that you wouldn't have got otherwise, and if you had picked a different option you would not get that information. So I thought that was really cool.
Ghost of Tsushima was just in general like a absolutely beautiful game. It's something that we didn't bring to the channel, but I got a chance to watch a lot of what Mal played through, and she 100%ed it, and she just really enjoyed it. For the paintings, just as a quick little rundown, because Mal did a really... I know that people probably get tired of me saying, like, this is my favorite painting! I love this paint! But seriously, Mal does really amazing work consistently, and this is just a quick reminder of Mal Makes this year. First thing you painted was Dueling Beaks from Breath of the Wild, which is one of my favorite paintings that you've ever done, because of just the almost like watercolor-esque aesthetic.
Yeah.
Then you did Pikmin 3. You did your 100th painting, which was...
my logo. You
changed your logo and your branding for 100 paintings. You did Sonic 2, Casino Night, Donkey Kong Country Vine Valley. Then you went back to Breath of the Wild and did the Silent Princess painting. Super Mario Sunshine with Serena Beach. Pokemon Heart Gold / Soul Silver with Viridian Forest. Super Mario World 2's Touch Fuzzy painting. Went back and did another Breath of the Wild piece, Akala, which means that you did 3 Breath of the Wild pieces this year.
I've been waiting to do it because we had to play the game first.
There is so much material from it.
Yeah.
And then Super Mario Galaxy last month.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, there is one more, and it is also very, very beautiful. And Mr. Gameboy says, I love the newest painting. It hasn't been released yet. It's very pretty, and honestly, it's very striking.
Yeah.
And it's the subject matter is something it's a game you've painted before, but the subject matter is not. Anyway, was there something that you did from your paintings that was surprising to you? Because I have an answer for this for you.
Yeah. What's your answer? My
answer for you is whenever Mal does paintings, there's always something that she struggles with. Mal is a good painter and gets better every single time, but there's always an element to a painting that Mallory struggles with. So whenever she's working on something, she'll get caught on something and she'll have to redo it. And she'll be like, I started this, now I gotta try and redo it. It's not quite right. There's always something. For the longest time in the early years, it was rocks. Rocks, cliff faces, anything like that. And now that's not really a problem. The painting that I'm bringing up now is Akala, because Akala was, I don't know if it's the first painting ever, but it's the one that strikes me the most, as Mal did not get caught on anything.
No.
She just did it. And it's beautiful. And I think that's probably the big thing for me, is like Mal painted that, and it's one of the most gorgeous paintings she's ever done. And she didn't get stuck on anything. She just sat down and she just did it, and it was incredible.
And there's a lot to it, because there's a sky and a background and all these trees and the seed pod and all of the foreground detail with the flowers and such in the water.
Yeah. So it's just really good.
Yeah.
Anyway, was there anything that you painted that you
was the
surprised
Bulborb one
by
this year or last year?
The Bulborb one was this year.
That's when I did the very first bokeh background, and that surprised me.
Oh,
how
yeah!
good that looked.
That was the first time you had attempted to do that.
And then I did it with Silent Princess as well, and that turned out also very good.
Yeah.
But the Pikmin one, the Bulborb one, that one in particular, I was like, oh wow, this is not as hard as I thought it'd be.
Yeah. And it looks really good. It looks really good. We can just use that to move into the next question. This is from Trent 2L, who says, what has been your favorite project or projects of 2021?
Maybe the Agala painting, just because of how
and
much
it doesn't
there
have to
was
be
to
it doesn't have to be a painting, but you might as well just answer a painting, because that's what you do.
Yeah.
You do so many things, right? Because you're not only doing the paintings, but I also drag you upstairs to do this with me.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
By the way, otherwise, favorite projects of 2021. Okay. I have really loved streaming. And I know that that's probably too general for everyone. But as someone who did not get into doing the streaming stuff until just like... I mean, really, we only started streaming games 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We really started with like Link's Awakening and around that time. I know that this is a very general, vague answer, but like streaming has been my favorite project. That's been my absolute favorite thing, is to come up here and to provide live entertainment that not only comes from me, but also comes from the audience and bouncing off comedy with the audience, and then Chaz in the form of really bizarre things that are happening on screen. It's fun, and like to ask me to pick a particular favorite like game or something that we've done is harder. I just really like the act of doing it, and we did a lot of cool things this year. Like we played, and it's hard to remember sometimes, but we did A Way Out, and we did It Takes Two, and we did Luigi's Mansion, and we finished Breath of the Wild. We were doing Breath of the Wild like for several months at the beginning of this year. And like Extra Life. Extra Life's always a joy. I mean, I love doing Extra Life, but like just the act of doing the streams has been really, really fun for me. That being said, I wanted to say just streams because I really have enjoyed doing the live stream stuff, partially because I have a lot of ideas for future stuff. I still do love creating on-demand content, and I did get to scratch my filmmaking itch this year in a bigger way than I've ever done in my entire life. Because sitting down and getting a chance to actually do The Lamp 2 was a whirlwind of several days that just about killed us, but gosh darn it, it was enjoyable. Mm-hmm. And I really I feel like going forward in my life, and this will cause Chaz all sorts of stress, at least once a year, I'm gonna have to get that out. Whether it's related to there he is. Whether it's related to Coliseum or not, increasingly it probably won't be, because I don't have time to devote that and also other stuff, especially if we're doing bumpers. But like once a year, I have, it's got to come out. It's got to come out.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoy doing that. Anyway, moving on. Back in Red asks, what's your favorite new stream, in-joke, or alert that was birthed in 2021? It's recent, but I really like Poggy.
Yeah. I really like Poggy.
I mean, like, so one of the reasons I like it is because it's insane, but then I talked about it earlier, but I really like the technical side of getting a IRL thing that's green screened as an alert, because it's from the technical side, it's a real big pain in the butt, but it's fun to do, and now that I know how to do it, I can do it again.
Yeah.
Second place to that is anything that happened during the streams. Because one of the things that I feel really sets our streams apart from so many other people's is that we're not doing the alerts. We don't make the alerts. Like, Chaz makes the alerts. And a lot of times, Chaz is making alerts, like, during the streams.
Yeah, he made one tonight.
And I think that is probably one of my favorite things about streams just in general, is because people can start watching a stream, a joke can happen, and then before the stream ends, there's alerts that are representative of that joke. And that is something that is extremely unique and happens because there is a puppet master pulling the strings in a different US state. So, like, that's really exciting for me. That's something that I really get a lot out of, and I think is really enjoyable because I don't know what's going to happen when the stream starts, and I sure as heck don't know what's going to happen when the stream is, like, halfway through.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Anyway. From Kwam Kume, or QME, thoughts on all the art pieces created for the artist series this year, and any new ideas relating to it in the future. If folks didn't see, I put out a tweet today. There was a photo of the mugs for the 6 different pieces that we did for artist series, and I just thanked the artists again for contributing to that this year. I don't have a lot of thoughts other than it was a good idea. Yeah. It was a really good idea to do it. It's something that I've wanted to do for years and have just never done. I think it's because I've always been juggling so much, and it's hard to have the mental capacity to, like, divert my resources and be like, okay, I need to also set up this stuff. But I'm glad that I did it because it created some really incredible stuff, and it made so many people so happy. Like, you know, people opening up their mailbox and getting a, you know, Your Mom shirt and seeing how excited they were and posting about it on Twitter and, like, tagging the artists and stuff, like, that sort of thing is really incredible. So moving forward, we do want to do that again. I don't know when it's going to start next year. It's not going to start in January because there was too much going on in December. But I do want to do it in some capacity next year. So we'll still be doing it. I just don't know, like, exactly to what extent.
Yeah.
From Nikki Sapphire, Mal, how's your Hobonichi going? I recently got one for 2022, and I am excited to use it.
You can start tonight.
Tonight?
Yeah, there's a page, if you're using a regular or the cousin, so the A5 or the A6, there's a page that says Turning the Page to the New Year, and it's just like a left and a right blank page. People use it for all sorts of things. I personally use it to reflect and then talk about my hopes for the next year.
Okay.
And then there's the next page after that is like a page for January as a whole. And I saw something the other day. Someone wrote wishes for the month of things they wished they could accomplish or that they could just work better on for themselves.
And for those who aren't aware, the Techo, the Hobonichi Techo, it's a journal.
Yeah.
You can use it for
planner journal.
A planner journal. You can use it for planning or journaling or art. People use them
Scrapbook.
for a variety of different things. And Mal's been a fan of that and been using them for many, many years. And I mean, they're good. They're good.
Yeah, they're quality.
They're very, very, good quality thing. And
Dan
Dan got one too.
Yeah, Dan actually has 2. He's using a Weeks and the smaller one.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But
also, here's the Dan.
They asked how mine was going. I'm trying to catch up in my 5-year because I keep a 5-year one, and when I was recovering, I couldn't sit at my desk and write, so I just put all my entries on my phone for my journal. And I've been trying to write, every time I sit at my desk, write another one out from my phone into my Techo because I switch ink colors when I go back to the beginning of the book and start the next year. On the next one down.
So it's a page with 5 different years.
So
that
January
day,
1st is like 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023 on the same page.
And they're all in different ink colors.
Yeah, and I like to switch my ink colors, so I need to catch up from surgery so I can switch my ink color for tomorrow.
It's exciting. Mal loves it.
Yeah.
Mal loves it. I like the idea of journaling,
I should tweet more
but
of my pages.
You really should.
Yeah.
People, it's like an entire like niche of the internet where people love that. Even folks that aren't within our little community, like they, love the Techo. You should do that. People would love to see that.
Yeah.
Also, that's just something that I would really like to try and do more of next year. Is I want to try and share more things that
happen.
Things that happen, things that I
But
like.
that don't make the vlog because
Exactly.
it's too small or it was too spur of the moment.
Like I want to do better about like taking some photos and posting them onto Instagram. I want to do I want to make some YouTube shorts. Not for the purpose of making a YouTube short, but for the purpose of sometimes there's little tiny things and I'm like, this is the sort of thing that should be posted like as a YouTube short to StephenVlog.
Yeah.
Something that's like not like important enough to include in the vlog, but just little tiny things.
Like you used to do with Vine.
Yeah, and it's not stuff that's like not like a schedule like, oh, I've got to make sure I get this. No, it's just like thinking about it in the perspective of like, I can do this. It's okay. I can just shoot a little video of Kepler doing something funny and just post it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and get better at that. From Silly Raspberry, does it ever feel strange to have a large part of your personal life public on the internet?
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah. And it's hard, like, because talking to different people, I don't know how much they see. Did they miss something important? Like, do I need to be like, oh, so this happened, and they'd be like, oh, I saw the vlog. It's hard to know when I'm talking to someone that. Like, if I talk to Carly, I forget Carly watches every vlog.
Yep.
And I'll be
so
like,
she just
oh,
knows
so,
what's going on.
You know, the other day, Kepler's tail was in the hot chocolate, and he had to, like, lick off the hot chocolate. She's like, I know, I saw it.
And she says it just like that.
She does.
1,000% just like that.
So it's hard that way, I think, because sometimes talking to my dad, he doesn't watch every vlog. Mm-hmm. And I'll talk about something and he'll either have seen it or he won't have seen it, so it's hard to know.
Yeah.
That way.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's not that weird for me now.
Yeah.
Just being perfectly honest, like, however Mal feels is separate from me, obviously, but like, I don't really feel that weird about it at this point. There might have been a time where I did, but not really now. I've been at this for so long, and the amount of information that I've shared has stayed basically relatively the same. You know, from the beginning, there's, I guess, like a very like certain part of my life, I'm like, well, this will be mine, and I'll keep this, but I'm willing to share this, and then that's just basically never changed. I'm like, okay, we'll keep sharing that, and I don't know. You just do it for so long, and you get used to it. I mean, think about it from this perspective. I am 32. 12 years of my life, a third of my life, is on the internet. And that's a lot. That's a lot. Like, over a third of my entire life, you can follow me around every day for a third of my life and find out, like, what was Stephen up to? You can learn. Like, go look. It's not really necessarily not always necessarily that exciting, but I think one of the reasons that people like it is because it's real.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I think sometimes we're probably pretty boring people.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we're kind of boring.
Yeah, I think we're kind of boring people, but I think sometimes people just, you know, they like that. There's plenty of people that do similar things to what we do, and it's like, we're going to this place, we're gonna be in a helicopter, and then we're gonna do ski down the slopes on a snowmobile and jump through a flaming and I'm like, okay, I just want to kind of like, I want to be excited for like a new game, and I want to be like, did you guys try these new chips? What? I'm getting off track. This will be a very quick question. This is from Penguin Kiwis. Favorite Star Wars character?
I don't know.
Trashbot. Frosty Lutari says, what's been your favorite Keppy moment this year?
Hot chocolate.
It's not even anything really to do with him. That's just something that was me.
Yeah.
But it's been that's something I'm going to remember forever. You know, him putting his tail in the hot chocolate and then me sucking on his tail to save his life. To save his life. Gosh darn it. That's what I did. That's what I did. From Forest Falcon, what's your most anticipated thing for 2022?
I'd be giving it away.
is because I don't know if there's things that I don't know about or can't remember, but I'm like, Coliseum?
I mean, that's the only thing that's known publicly.
Is there more stuff happening that we have planned? Did I forget something important? Okay, well, Coliseum, because my brain is the size of a small cashew. I am excited about Coliseum. I would be.
Oh, I am too, but there's other things I'm excited for.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't at least like. I don't know if nervous is the right word. It's slightly nervous because we are getting everyone together, and everyone is vaccinated and boosted, and I know that folks are going to be careful, but there is the wild card of folks traveling. So there is some level of nervousness, but also I'm kind of just trusting at this point. I'm like, well, everyone is taking the level of precautions that is necessary, and I'm still excited to see folks. So I'm looking forward to it, and I want to make some stuff with everybody. I want to make some bumpers and things like that. And apparently there's something else happening next year that I've forgotten about, so I guess that'll be exciting too.
I mean, the thing I'm referring to is not this, but Carly's also getting married.
Oh, okay. Well,
That's not the thing I'm referring to, but that is another thing I'm excited about.
Yeah. And that'll be cool. That's not happening until late next year.
I mean, they only just got engaged.
Yeah. Well, at some point. At some point. At some point. Back in Red asks, which Extra Life 2021 game was your favorite? Okay.
Trauma Center.
Ooh. Okay, don't read into this too much. Billy the Wizard. It's not that it was good, but I don't think I've ever been that mad. The realization, and anyone who watched Extra Life knows exactly what I'm talking about. The realization that they didn't map shoot the gun to the trigger on the controller, and instead chose to map nothing to the trigger. I have never been that mad in my entire life. I was furious, absolutely furious that this company, in their infinite wisdom, was like, okay, so riding around on the broomsticks, it's gonna have a gun, right? So what button on the controller should be the gun? And Larry's like, should it be the trigger? Because there's a gun as a trigger. Larry, shut up.
No, let's use number 2 on the Wiimote.
Go to hell. No. Number 2, we're using number 2. We're using number 2 because number 2 changes the camera to slightly wider. So what we're going to do, okay, think with me for a minute. What if you just shake the controller forward?
Gotta use the Wiimote new thing.
And Larry's like, okay, but what are we mapping to be? Larry, nothing. Shut up. Okay? Shut up. I don't want to hear it from you anymore. And we won't just be shaking it. No, it has to be a very specific motion. Okay? Very specific. Forward, back. Or it won't work. If you do this, it will not work. You can only shoot the gun like this. So, possibly one of the worst games I've ever played in my life. Just for that. And I'm going to say that. Otherwise, fill me up with the Mountain Dew. Trauma Center was probably one of my favorite things. It was really, really fantastic. Let's see here. I want to answer this. This is going to be hard. Clockwork Pretzels asks, what are some of your favorite albums? It's so hard to answer this. It's like I want to answer it, but I'm also already acutely aware of how difficult it will be to answer. Oh, thinking off the top of my head, so I'm a big fan of They Might Be Giants. Yeah. Obviously, They Might Be Giants is my favorite band. And so much of their stuff is good, and it's hard to recommend like a very specific album by them. Mm-hmm. So let's just say their discography is great. You can listen to like Idlewild if you're brand new to them. Idlewild is a good sampling of more recent stuff.
I accidentally clicked disc only.
I'm also gonna say I really liked the new Modest Mouse album.
It was very good, yes.
Their stuff is always really weird with me because it has to grow on me. Like, I'm a fan of Modest Mouse, but they're like, every time I listen to an album, I'll listen to the album and I'll be like, okay, there's like one song. And I'll listen to it again, I'll be like, okay, so maybe like there's 2 songs. I'll listen to it again and be like, okay, there's like 4 songs. And it's a lot of bands I'm not like that with, but them specifically, it takes multiple listens before I'm like, okay, no, I like that.
This is probably my favorite Modest Mouse album, is No One's First and You're Next. Mm-hmm. That's probably my favorite one.
There's other... So actually, this is a good question because I thought about this when I was... I've been working on a playlist that has all of my favorite music in it. I've been working on it for years. One day I'll finish it. But when I was working on it, it led me to the realization that there are some albums that I'm like, oh, this album is perfect. Mm-hmm. A perfect album is where... let's say 90 to 100% of the tracks make it into your favorites list. If you have an album where you're like literally every single track from the album goes into your playlist, that means that it's pretty dang good. And I'm scrolling through and I'll never run into the stuff if I'm scrolling through it, but I know off the top of my head, the Beastie Boys, License to Ill, is an album that not everyone's into Beastie Boys, especially maybe some of the old stuff, but I am, and that is an album that is like, it's perfect. It's literally perfect. There's one of the Aquabats albums too. I'm like, I really, really love this album. And I've got other ones and I'm never going to remember it. One of the Weezer albums.
Green?
I do like Green album. It might be green. Maybe it's blue. Maybe it's both.
Pinkerton?
Another perfect album. This album's perfect, and this is a good example because maybe you've never heard of it. The Cat Empire. The Cat Empire is the greatest band you've never heard of. Fantastic. They're an Australian band. They have
Weren't they New Zealand?
I thought they're Australian. I might be wrong. They're fantastic. They have like a... almost... They got like a ska, jazzy, fusion thing. Anyway, they have a self-titled album and it's perfect. It's perfect. Every single song.
Luna Boy says Aussies.
Yeah, every single... You know why I know that? It's because we were in high school. Jarrett went to Australia and brought back the Cat Empire, and that's how I have the album.
Okay.
He brought it back and he's like, when I was in Australia, I heard this band and they're fantastic. So, I would love to sit here. I could just make the entire Q&A just recommending music. Some of Cake's albums get really close. I have a lot of Cake in here.
Cake is someone that I didn't listen to when I was younger, and I knew now I would have liked it.
Another album that, again, I could spend forever doing this.
XC Priest says Sufjan Stevens' Illinois album is one I love. Yes. I love Illinois, and I love Michigan, too.
I really like C418's music, who does the music for Minecraft, but there's an album that he has called One, and I have the entire album in my playlist. It's so good. And it also is... The songs work independently, but you can just listen to it as a complete thought. And it's not, there's no lyrics, it's just music. It's really, really fantastic. Oh, and another one. Okay, then I swear we're done. Because I really could spend the entire thing doing this. Which Plastic Age, right? Or it's called The Age of Plastic. The Age of Plastic by the Buggles is fantastic. I just want to look at this playlist, and I really have to move on. Read another question, and I'll stop.
Mathman271, would you consider doing a trip to Europe? If so, where would you like to go? Oh, that's so hard about where. Also, that one foe says TV killed the radio star. I want to go to Poland, because I have family from there. I would love to see it. I'd like to go to Germany and France and England. And I'd like to go up into, like, the Nordic countries. I think that would be cool. I want to go to Italy. Lindsay really wants us to go to Spain. She studied abroad there. I kind of just want to, like, go make a big loop.
Get behind me, Satan! The 2005 album by White Stripes is also perfect. I'm done. Okay, so we were talking about Europe.
Yes.
You took a look and it turned it blue. I would go to Europe. Mm-hmm. Next question. I like to travel. I like to travel when I would go anywhere.
Yeah.
Travel for me is two things. And people know this. If you don't already realize this, when I tell you this, you're going to go, yeah, that sounds about right. Travel for me is two things. Food and interesting things I can film. I enjoy filming stuff. That's something that's really kind of recent, to be honest. It's only in the past few years that I've really had more of a cinematography itch, and being able to go to interesting places and see interesting things and film stuff that I wouldn't normally film is intriguing to me. I really enjoy that. So when I travel, what I want to do is I want to shoot something really interesting, and I want to eat something really interesting, and that is travel for me.
There was a trip my dad was looking at going on with us at some point, but obviously things are shut down right now. Mm-hmm. And it seemed super cool. It was like going through all the Baltics, and then south, Finland, Sweden, Norway. It was seeing some of the Baltics and then up that way.
I mean,
it sounded really cool.
I would do it. There's no part of me that wouldn't do that. That sounds awesome. It's just a matter of, doing it.
I think Svalbard would be super cool.
It wouldn't be my first choice.
I listened to a podcast
It would be interesting, but it wouldn't be my first choice. I'll tell you that. Here's a question from Vena con Queso McCart. From one married gaming couple to another newly married gaming couple, what are some tips when choosing a game to play together?
It depends on what you like to do. If you are a competitive couple, then finding something competitive. But if that brings out hostility between you, then maybe a cooperative game.
I mean, so the other thing is, in this has less to do with marriage and just time spent together. As you spend more time together, you will start to just naturally, I think, fall more into learning about games that each of you like, because everyone likes different genres of games. Mm-hmm. If you are so fortunate that your genres align really well, then that can be really cool, because if it's a game that is cooperative, you can play it together. There's a lot of value in this. If it's a single-player game, that's totally cool, too, because, Mao is fine with watching me play a game. I am fine with watching Mao play a game.
Or passing controllers.
Or passing the controller. Mao
Unless
just...
it's Pikmin 2.
Mao played through Ghost of Tsushima, and I watched her do that. Before that, we had started playing Disco Elysium.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
And, I was really enjoying it, Mao was really enjoying it, and then we just never got back to it, which is a shame, but... Okay. He's not in there, so I don't...
He's concerned,
just a box that fell. So yeah, I don't know, it's gotta be... Certainly you can try games, too. That's part of it.
Yeah.
Is just sit down and try something. But, your lives are just getting started. You've got plenty of time to figure each other out and figure out what genres mesh well, and... I don't know. It's fun. It really is fun. And sometimes couples played completely different games, mm-hmm. and that's fine too. And sometimes one person likes this, one person likes this. But I feel like there's games for people to play together, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
You just have to figure them out. Let's see. Whoop Reap says, what systems, if any, do you both use to manage your tasks and workload? I use a system called Chaz.
It stands for
Chaz has answers. Zuababa! I also use a system called Mao, which is Mao
Always.
Mal assists lots. Don't ask me to spell Zuwawawa! I would have went for Steven. That was good too. I mean,
people know I keep my Techo planner.
You use like a planner and make notes and stuff. I mean, so the way that I typically do things, I'm not exaggerating when I say that Chaz and Mal assist me a ton, and they do. I often need help keeping track of what I should be working on, because at any given time, the problem with what I do is that there's always something to do. And I don't have a problem working. Working's great, but I do fall into a trap of like shifting around the things that I should probably be working on at that particular point. Because I might be like, cool, I'm working on this and I need to do this. This is important. And I'll be like, but it's been a long time since I've like redesigned this graphic. And the minute that my mind realizes that, I'm like, been a long time since I redesigned that graphic. Maybe I'll just open up the Photoshop file. I'll just take a look.
Let me work on the stream layout for a game that we're not playing for a bit.
That's not true. So that's something where, both Chaz and Mal have been really helpful because, I don't want to put Mal down, but Chaz has been more helpful because Chaz is focused solely on that, where Mal also is taking into account, like, other things that are going on.
Yeah. Like, it's been a while since we've been to the recycling center.
Yeah.
Or checked the P.O. box.
Chaz doesn't live here. Chaz doesn't know what the recycling is like. So Chaz is only focused on the work side, and but is also actually really helpful. Yeah. Otherwise, the things I do on my own is I keep a to-do list. I do. But is this dreidel?
Yes.
Okay. But on my to-do list, like, it's just like, a lot of it's just like ideas. It's just like, okay, I need to do this, but
Someday
they're not...
I will do this.
Yeah, they're not things that need to, like, get done soon. They're just things that I'm like, this is a good idea. And I've got things on there from years ago. Did that answer the question?
Yeah.
It's fine. It's totally fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. Emil asked, who's your favorite Mudcrab? I love Johannes Snipper. He just goes by Big J Snip.
Snip, snip.
Yeah, that's his catchphrase. He's not an actual crab. What position does he play? He plays he plays short hitter. Short hitter.
What number is he?
6. Yeah. Yeah, and any time I've ever watched
Crab Stop is so good. Clever title.
Crab Stop is good. Anytime, yeah, I watch Big J Snip on the television. I'm always impressed with how good he does the ball. Other people have done the ball, but when he does the ball, it's a little different. Mm-hmm. Because of how good it is that he does it. So, Emil, thank you for the question. I appreciate it. But does he do the good burn? No. No, that's something else. Here's a good one. This is from Enese. What is your favorite Mama Georg dish? And the favorite dish you make yourselves?
Mashed potatoes.
Really? I mean, that's like not like a really, that's what you chose? I mean, like, is that really seriously?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that mine too? When I was growing up, my mom made mac and cheese a lot, and I remember that as a kid was like, oh my god, mac and cheese. And I think one of the things is like you really... Sorry, Joey Scarborough got me good. Thanks, Emil. I think one of the things about growing up is you don't realize when you're a kid, unless you do, in which case something was really bad, but you realize growing up if your parents were good at cooking. Because the older you get, the more food that you have in various places, the more experiences you have to compare to. You can go, oh, my mom was a really good cook, or oh, my dad sucked. You have these different opinions. And I've realized, like, my mom was actually really good at cooking. But as a kid, the pinnacle of what she made, I think, for me was mac and cheese. I mean, it was, like, really good. And she still makes it. But I feel like I take it for granted now because I appreciate the mashed potatoes more. God, is that my answer too? Is it mashed potatoes?
She's taken my sweet potato recipe and made it better. There's no point to me making sweet potatoes anymore because she makes it better.
She's good. She does a good job. Favorite dish we make ourselves? I like making pizza. It's just fun.
Yeah.
It's just like it's an event when to get all the stuff together to make it, but it's fun and it's always going to turn out just a little bit different every time. And I think pizza at this point, it's not. I don't think it's the most delicious thing because I don't think pizza is like. Some people are like pizza's the best food, and I'm like, no, it's not. There's things that definitely taste better than pizza, but I like pizza a lot, so. I've always been really fond of that chicken Florentine.
Yeah.
Mal makes this.
It's a pesto Alfredo.
It's so good, and it's got tomatoes in it and like
chicken.
She hasn't done it in a while.
It's because it's really unhealthy.
Yeah, it's really bad for you. I think I'm just a sucker for pesto.
Yeah, you are.
I am just really like I really go for extremely bold flavors, and pesto has a really bold flavor, and I love pesto. So maybe that's one of the reasons I like that so much. I don't know. Kit Khalid says, I just noticed your nails, Mal. Do you like your new polish?
I do. My aunt sent me a Get Well gift card, and then I ordered a couple polishes, and then I was like trying to figure out what to tell Carly I wanted for Christmas, and I told her, and then she got me a gift card too. So this is Circuit Breaker by Holo Taco.
And this is probably really different for folks because, I mean, you haven't had nail polish on in like a long time.
Holo Taco has a peel-off base coat, so I can basically just pop these off like caps. I know. Which I really like the idea of because if I wear nail polish when I paint, it'll chip and then it won't be consistent through the video, and plus like I'll get paint and then they'll get messed up. So I figured that this was really good because when I start to paint, I can just take it off real easy.
One of the reasons like certain things don't happen, nail polish is being one of them.
Or me wearing my rings.
Is like some of it's continuity.
Yeah.
Because once Mal starts a painting, it takes weeks to do a painting and nothing can change.
If I'm getting a haircut, I have to think about it.
Because the video has to seem, like it's one. And anyone who doesn't know that it takes Mal weeks to do a painting would be like, what do you mean it takes it? You go in there and do it. Like, no, it took 50 hours. The video was 50 or 60 hours, so, you want to make sure that you're not causing any continuity issues. Yeah. But that's one of the reasons. Here's an interesting question. This is from Chill Days. How do you know Michael? I don't remember hearing about how you guys met and became friends. So Michael's someone that we've known at this point for 10 years.
Yeah.
Just about 10 years on the dot, actually.
We met Michael before Roland. Well, we met Roland, but we didn't know Roland.
We knew them about the same time, but yeah, I think we knew Michael a little more personally right before we knew Roland. So Player's Choice, which is a local mom and pop video game store that Roland is a manager at, they
used to only be in North Carolina.
Yes, and they started to branch out a little bit, and the way that they did that is there was an indoor flea market in North Myrtle Beach, and they rented a stall at the flea market. And me and Mao,
we were here.
We were living in Colombia, so it was 2011. We were living in Colombia. We were visiting here for Christmas. So yeah, it's actually 10 years like on the dot. And we went to that flea market on a whim, and we were walking through the flea market, and we saw that Player's Choice had the little stall in there, and Michael was working there. And, you know, we were just in there looking around, and Michael was like, you know, how you doing? We're like, oh, pretty good. And we were looking at retro games, and he's like, you know, sometimes we get, like, really...
rare stuff like
really,
Earthbound.
He was like, yeah, sometimes we get, like, really rare Super Nintendo games, like Earthbound. And, like, me and Mal just started laughing. And we're like, I'm sorry. I was like, we actually met because of Earthbound. And he's like, oh, that's really cool. So we started talking, and at the time, Stephen Plays was young. Stephen Plays was really young, and we used to do giveaways for carts. So, like, we would do a playthrough of Kirby Superstar, and we would give away a Kirby Superstar cart. We would do Donkey Kong Country 2, and we would give away a Donkey Kong Country 2 cart. And so we did these things, and I was telling Michael about it, and I was like, you know, we do these things, and he's like, oh, okay, well, if you're looking for a specific game, when it comes in, we'll hold it for you. And I was like, oh, fantastic. So that's kind of how we got a chance to meet Michael, and then he was, like, holding games and stuff for us whenever we would do them. And then eventually he stopped working for Player's Choice. But
then they moved into the mall.
And Player's Choice moved into the mall, but Michael's, like, lifelong friends with Roland, so he's known Roland for a long, long time. But yeah, that's how we know Mike. And he's a great guy.
He's also keeping a Tetcho. This is his 3rd year.
Yep. Here's a good one from Poppy Winkles. What is the character you had the most fun playing during streams? Tiny Eddie, Wario, etc. What's your answer?
I think Wario.
Garlic! We got so much garlic up in here! Thank you to Nintendo for making me exist! Wario was good. Well, I think Wario was fun because it's just so different. I mean, yeah. Tiny Eddie was as well, but Wario felt... I guess Wario to some extent feels even more special because, like, Wario is like a one-time thing? And Tiny Eddie became an alert, so we hear Tiny Eddie a lot.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, it's this whole, like, mythos behind all of this stuff, but Wario was only around for, like, one. I did like doing Wario. It was fun. I sincerely hope that there's going to be more characters.
Yeah.
Because I actually get a lot out of that, and I think it's a lot of fun, so, We'll see what happens. Bubbly Cinnamon says, what's the best Phil Collins song? I mean, it's gotta be In the Air Tonight.
Yeah.
And it's In the Air Tonight specifically for a section of the song that is 3 seconds long. Do you know which 3 seconds?
The drums?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do-do, 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 do-do. That's it! And I would actually be say that if that was the whole song. I want to hear a version, because people, like, take songs and they cut them up and put them on the YouTube. I want to hear a version of that song where, like, the song never gets into it. Like, it's just that. And, like, people cut it up and make more of a drum solo. Do-do, 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 do-do. Like, just that. Jeff says, it's amazing Phil Collins does all those drum sounds with his mouth. That's what I've thought for years. I mean, just a very, truly talented man. Also did a song for Bear. There's a Disney movie.
Tarzan?
No. I know more about Disney than you in this moment. There's a movie called Bear. Brother Bear. I missed half of the words. It did seem kind of... I was like, there's more to it than just Bear. But I really like the idea of Disney just releasing a film called Bear. Just Bear. We just filmed Bear. Tropical Freeze 21 says, is there a genre or style of game you'd like to feature more on Twitch/YouTube? Do you have input on this? A specific, like, style of game that you want to see more of? Something that we don't do enough of?
I mean, there are specific games.
What specific game?
You know the answer to that. There's 2 games.
Oh, are you still harping on Okage?
I am.
Okay. Might happen at some point. It's not completely uncalled for.
Yeah.
I will. Okay, I'm gonna give a little hint. I'm gonna give a little hint here, a little tiny hint about one of the things that we're doing next. We are, and this leads into the question a little bit. And this is less of a style of game, a genre, but more of a philosophy in approaching Twitch. One of the things that makes Twitch special is the fact that there is interactivity between the people who are doing the stream and then the people that are watching the stream. And I'm thinking about that more and more to make the streams even more interesting and unique and interactive. And one of the next big major projects that we're working on is thinking less about the genre, less about the style of game, and more about the interactivity. And interesting multiple ways to get audience involved. And I'll probably just leave it at that. It's not crowd control, although that is another great example of why Twitch is so exciting and why live streaming is so exciting, because it is very interactive experience. So I'll leave it at that, and it won't be too much longer before we start talking about stuff and revealing it.
Yeah.
And actually, I'll have a new Patreon video out in the next 2 or 3 days. We'll be going into deep details about what we're doing and some of the other stuff I'm thinking about for this year. Lots of cool stuff, to be honest. Let's see. There's been multiple, so this isn't attributed to any one person, but several people have asked for post-surgery updates, how brain fog has been, etc. Do you want to just talk about it? Again,
yeah, I'll talk briefly
weeks.
about it because we did talk about it on the vlog at 8 weeks. So
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday's vlog was about that. In general, I feel wonderful. Like, I likened it to having an angry demon living inside my body, and it's gone. Like, things feel quiet. Like, I don't worry about random waking up and being in pain, or trying to sleep and being in pain, or trying to work and being in pain.
Yeah.
So that's all really cool. I am having some residual pain that's much smaller on a scale than I had pre-surgery. And I'm not sure how much of that is what my local doctor did, or, and I've talked to my surgeon's nurse, still stitches internally that haven't dissolved, which is a definite possibility, she said. So that's something I'm not supposed to judge until April, which is 6 months. So I'm just really glad that things are a lot less in pain. And the pain I do get is really fleeting. Like, it doesn't last for the day or the hour or until I get ibuprofen. It's just like, hey, here's some pain.
Hey.
And then it'll be gone.
Hey.
And, like, I don't feel like the brain fog is there anymore, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I know a lot of people have wondered about, like, food allergies, because I had talked about it was a possibility that they could maybe go away, and that's not something I'm going to try for a while. And if it's anything, it would be peanuts. It's not going to be, like, latex. That's never going to go away.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You won't be able to eat gloves. I know. You were really looking forward to trying Tiny Eddie's new flavored gloves.
No.
All right, let's go for something completely different. This is from Lizzie, the Mara Wilson fan 96. Favorite childhood TV shows?
Digimon.
Digimon, Digital Monsters.
Samurai Pizza Cats.
Samurai Pizza Cats are the champions.
No. It was Samurai Pizza Cats. Right on. Who do you call when you want some pepperoni?
Never really saw it.
Ah, you missed out. It was so good.
As a kid, and I say as a kid, but really up until adulthood, I only really watched animated stuff. I remember very vividly, I've probably talked about it before, but like being in high school and like everyone watching not animated stuff anymore. And I was like, no, I'm still gonna do this. I still watch Nickelodeon, still watch Cartoon Network, and then like into high school, like adult animation started to come on the scene a little bit more. So I would watch, like I remember watching the first night that Adult Swim premiered, and watching the Brak Show and Space Ghost and whatever, and Aqua Teens. So I don't know. I just always really liked animation. Even especially when I was a kid, but things that like stick out, Cow and Chicken, which maybe influenced some of my humor as a child. Cow and Chicken, similar vein, Ren and Stimpy, but I also really liked Hey Arnold. I know Rocko's Modern Life is one we've talked about before. Also kind of is a very similar humor style to like Cow and Chicken. I don't know, I watched them all, man. I've seen, for the first few seasons of SpongeBob, I've seen all of the SpongeBob.
I never got into SpongeBob.
I also watched a lot of, I did watch a lot of old shows, though. I never watched new stuff as a kid, but I watched, like, anything that would be on TV Land, or very specifically Nick at Night. So I don't know if Nick at Night is still a thing, because I don't have cable. But, like, when I was younger, at... I don't know, 9 p.m., like all of the Nickelodeon kid stuff was off, and then it was just like running I Love Lucy and the Bob Newhart Show and, you know, all of these things, and I watched so much of it.
I loved Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie.
I've seen almost every episode of I Dream of Jeannie and Bewitched and the two girls on the assembly line. We're gonna do it.
Oh, I was just thinking of Lucy when she's eating the chocolates.
I think I was doing the song for Mary Tyler Moore, but I'm thinking of Laverne and Shirley. No, I'm thinking of... that's the song for Laverne and Shirley, not Mary Tyler Moore. Yeah, Laverne and Shirley. I watched Little Mister. I haven't seen a lot of Mister. What's the other one? MASH. God, I've seen so much MASH, although that might be a lot of my dad. I've seen so much Happy Days.
Gilligan, yep.
Oh, shit, rockety here, what down. And then the MASH song, which is
do 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 do.
Yeah.
It has lyrics. It's just not in the show.
Yeah. Suicide is painless.
Mm-hmm.
It's really depressing. Really depressing lyrics. Actually, fun fact about that theme song is that it was written by a kid. It was written by the director's son of the MASH movie, and it was supposed to be stupid. It was supposed to be written in such a way that, like, it was, like, bad.
Yeah.
And then everyone loved it.
Mm-hmm.
It really backfired. Yeah, if you didn't know that the MASH theme song had lyrics, it does. And you'll remember them. You won't forget them. All right, let's do, like, 2 or 3 more, and then we'll wrap up and get ready for the ball to drop. A ball will drop. Let's see here. This is an interesting one. CJB asks, is there anything that used to be a thing on the channel but hasn't appeared in a while, such as Nintendo, Halo, other people stuff are constantly asking about, that you genuinely miss? There's a lot. I think that sometimes people misconstrue the absence of something as like the hatred for something, and it's not the way it is. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like there's just genuinely not enough hours in the day, and there's too much other stuff to do. And sometimes you're like, I really want to do this thing, but this makes a little more sense to do, and I'm going to do this. For instance, it doesn't get asked about all that often, but occasionally people be like, when are you going to do another Gears of War game? I would love to do another Gears of War game. I actually would. I think that would be fun. I'd love to do another God of War game. I want to cover the new God of War. I want to play another Halo game. Like, I want to do all of these things. I don't know when I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
You know, there's only so much time, and you can only do so many things, and we'll get to it. People have asked me now for a year about Last of Us 2, and I'm like, we'll get to it, but there's too much other stuff to do. So that's why we're like, If something else comes up and I'm like, I think this would be more entertaining, then that's how we do it. That's how we do it. Also, hey Pat. Happy New Year. From Ray Gallade, what are your favorite brands and flavors of chips? I'm going to keep this real short, and I'm just going to let people know that the snack of the year is Dots Pretzels.
Original.
I know that that's not a chip, but I'm going to take your question and turn it into something that I want to answer. The best snack of the year is Dots Original Flavor Pretzel. If you haven't had them, what are you even doing? They come in a red bag. They're about this big. They also have honey mustard and Southwest flavor. In my opinion, they're all right. Original? It's incredible. It's incredible. Mr. Deathgill says, what about Grandma Watts? Grandma Watts is my favorite potato chip. Full stop. And it's important that
in the brown bag.
It's in the brown bag. And if you're going to buy a potato chip, a classic flavored salted potato chip, then the best one to buy is Grandma Utz' potato chip. But I'm using this as an opportunity to let you know and preach the good gospel of Dots Pretzels. We are not sponsored. God, I wish we were, because I'd probably have a little mountain of them behind me. Dot, call me. But the pretzels are really fantastic. I mean, they're really good. We had a bag. We had a bag already. For Christmas, my mom got us 2 bags. There are now 3 bags of Dots pretzels sitting on my fridge.
They're on the fridge. Because our pantry is too full.
They're so good. And again, the other flavors are fine. And the Cheetos things,
maybe our bag was just...
I don't think they're any good.
Yeah.
Skip the Dots Cheetos crap, but the original pretzels, those are good.
I like, for chips, I like the kettle cooked cracked pepper and sea salt.
Yeah. And if we're
There's one flavor I like, and there's like one brand I like and one I don't, and I always forget which one is which.
All right. Let's see. This is a good thinky one. This is from Storms002. What is one piece of advice someone has given you that has had the most impact on your life?
My health teacher in sophomore year was an incredible teacher. Everyone loved him. And I had him for homeroom. And someone asked him something like that at one point, and he said, someone told me when I married my wife to never go to bed angry. He said,
that's a good one.
And he said that's been the best advice I've ever gotten.
Yeah, and that applies more generally to not just a spouse or someone that you're in a relationship with, but like anyone, really.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest, like anyone that you are friends with.
Yeah.
You know, if it is in your best interest to try and mend that.
Yeah.
And like, as a clarification, that's one philosophy of things.
Yeah.
Because some people think that a little time being angry and thinking about things helps. And like, if that's how you feel, I'm not gonna stop you. Do whatever you feel is right. But that's the way we've operated, and I feel like that's been really good. I feel like that's really good for communication. Because sometimes we get a little pissy with each other. You decide to do something and you're like, I'm a little pissy. And I do something and you do, wait, which one was which? I'm trying to make it where we both do the same thing. Sometimes we piss each other off just a little bit. Sometimes, just like push each other's buttons. Not often, but it happens. So, when it happens, it's nice to, if we're upset, we try and resolve it before bed. And I think it's kept things real good in the house. So that's good. That's really good. For me, I'm going to go in a different direction. I'm going to say a good piece of advice that I've tried to live by, and I can't recall like someone telling me this. This might just been something I've heard or I've read, and I've tried to utilize it, and that is don't sweat the details. Don't sweat don't. That's
my goal for 2022.
Don't lose sleep over the tiniest of things. I think is the takeaway there. Like, there's going to be things in life that come your way that you're going to have to deal with, but I try really hard not to like dwell on things and, you know, focus on them. I try to just like move on to like the next thing. Hi, Kepler. To the best of my ability. Sometimes that's hard, but that's something that I try to do my best with. Is it's so easy to worry about something forever.
Yeah.
And I try not to do that. I try to say, okay, how much mental energy should I be giving this thing? Let's give it that much mental energy, and then we have to move on because there's just too much other stuff to do. He's ready for food.
He is ready.
All right, we're going to do one final question. This is from Back in Red. It says, what storylines do the writers have in store for the new season of hit sitcom StephenVlog? My joke answer is, you'd have to ask Thomas. My real answer, things that we are looking into the future on. 2022 has the potential to be a big year. What can you guys even see?
With a big Kepler head.
I'm not going to move him. I think it's great. 2022 definitely has the potential to be a very big year. And I'm not going to elaborate on that because I don't want to. But also I'm not going to elaborate on it because I don't know what'll happen. He's having himself a great time. And that's all that matters to
me. Are you rubbing your face on the monitor?
So I don't really know what's going to happen in 2022. But I know that there are some things that I would like to happen, and if they do happen, I think that there could be there's some big things.
Yeah.
But I am not ready to talk about them, and I won't be until I'm way more sure that things would actually happen.
Yeah.
But it is exciting. Are you excited, Stinker?
He's excited for Scoop.
He's excited for Scoop. Anyway, that concludes the 2021 Q&A. Thank you all for submitting questions. This is real casual. We haven't done this in a long time.
A year.
I know. I feel like at some point maybe we'll bring it back and do it a little bit more often because I do enjoy doing them, and I think people enjoy getting a chance to pick our brains a little bit about some things. It's a weird situation because the Q&As technically exist all the time nonstop, right? Because if you're watching a stream, you could be like, hey, I have this question, and I'll be like, okay, here's an answer. But it's a little different. The format feels a little different when we sit down and actually do it like this. So even if we did a mid-year, even if we did one more than we normally do, that would be extra. But maybe at some point we'll do it. Maybe we'll like hijack a breakfast stream or something at some point. Or we'll end if we finish a video game. I have an idea. If we finish a game stream on a Friday and we finish the game that we're playing early,
yeah,
then we'll just do the rest of the stream and turn it into Q&A. That'd be cool.
Yeah.